What if I told you your memories are lies? What if the brightest moment you cherish is a remix, a beautiful fraud pieced together from scraps of truth and fiction? What if the deep, cutting pain of your worst fear never actually happened the way you think it did? Stop for a moment. Take a breath. This might feel shocking, even dizzying, like the ground beneath your feet has suddenly turned to water. But it is true. The very foundation of who you are, the story of your life stored within your mind, is not a perfect record. It is a constantly changing narrative, edited without your permission. You are living inside a story your brain tells you, and sometimes your brain gets the story wrong. Your most precious memories are not pure. They are not pristine recordings locked away in a vault. Memory is a remix. Think about your first kiss, the smell of the air, the feeling of your heart pounding in your chest. People have a powerful and deeply misleading metaphor for memory. They think of the brain as a high-fidelity video camera. It captures life in perfect detail, recording every sight, sound, and feeling, and then stores the footage safely for later playback. This idea is comforting, but it is fundamentally wrong. Your brain does not record life, it perceives it. It is not a passive archivist, but an active storyteller. It picks and chooses which details to keep. It focuses on the gist of an experience, the emotional core, while letting the mundane specifics fade away like mist in the morning sun. Your memory is not a library of facts. It is a gallery of impressions. The reason for this is rooted in survival, not accuracy. The brain is an efficiency machine, built to help you navigate the future, not perfectly preserve the past. It keeps what it deems important for survival: the face of a threat, the location of food, the feeling of love that builds a bond. It discards what it thinks is useless clutter. In the spaces left behind, the gaps in the narrative, your brain becomes an improviser. It fills those empty spots with logical guesses, assumptions, details borrowed from other experiences. It paints a complete picture using incomplete information, all to give you a coherent story you can use to make sense of the world. Each time you summon a memory, you are not simply playing it back. You are actively reconstructing it from the ground up. Imagine building a model ship from a box of scattered parts. To complete the ship, you have to fabricate new parts from what you think they should look like. This is what your brain does every single time you remember something. The rebuilt version, with all its new fabricated pieces, then becomes the new memory. The next time you recall it, you are building from the rebuilt version. Errors and inventions accumulate over time, layer by layer. This makes memory incredibly vulnerable. The act of remembering is an act of creation, and that creation is susceptible to outside influence. A simple suggestion: 3 powerful forces are constantly at work, shaping and distorting the stories you call memories. Suggestion: time. Emotion. Suggestion is perhaps the most insidious of these architects. It works like a whisper in the dark, planting seeds of information that grow into detailed memories of things that never happened. A single leading question can fundamentally alter a person's recollection. Asking, "Did you see the broken headlight?" instead of, "Did you see a broken headlight?" can make witnesses remember shattered glass that wasn't there. The mind, eager to help, fills the gaps and incorporates the suggestion into memory. Time is a passive but relentless agent of change. The specifics blur first. What remains is the general outline, the emotional gist. Let's make this real. Picture a scene from your own life, a warm memory from early childhood. Perhaps it's a 4th birthday party. You can see the cake with its flickering candles. You can smell the sugary frosting. You can feel the excitement as you unwrapped a bright red bicycle. You have told this story for years. Your family nods along. It is a cornerstone of your childhood. But what if the bicycle was a gift for your 6th birthday? What if the cake was from a photograph you saw last year? What if your aunt, who you remember being there, was actually out of the country that entire summer? The scene in your head is a collage, a beautiful fiction assembled from pieces of different events. This is not a sign of a broken mind, it is the sign of a normal one. Memory is a remix. The brain is not interested in cataloging birthdays with bureaucratic precision. It is interested in the meaning of the events. Love, celebration, family, joy. It bundles these feelings together and constructs a representative scene. We have a deep-seated bias in our thinking. We believe that the more vivid and detailed a memory is, the more likely it is to be true. When someone recounts a story with rich sensory information, the scratchy feel of the wool blanket, the scent of rain on hot asphalt, the exact shade of blue in the sky, we instinctively trust them. More importantly, we trust ourselves when our own memories surface with this kind of cinematic clarity. We think, I couldn't be making this up. I remember it too clearly. This assumption is one of the most powerful and dangerous illusions our minds create. Vividness is not a marker of accuracy. It is a marker of confidence. Think of it this way. A memory is a story the brain tells itself. Every time the story is told, the brain has an opportunity to embellish it, to add a little more detail, to make it a better, more compelling narrative. Your brain does the same thing. The fallibility of memory is not just a fascinating quirk of neuroscience. It has profound and devastating consequences in the real world. In the legal system, the stakes are life and liberty. Eyewitness testimony is often treated as the gold standard of evidence, a direct window into the past. Juries are powerfully swayed by a confident witness pointing a finger and declaring with absolute certainty that the defendant is the person they saw. Yet, as we have seen, this confidence is a poor indicator of accuracy. Decades of DNA exonerations have proven this in the most tragic way possible. The single greatest cause of wrongful convictions is eyewitness misidentification. An innocent person's life can be destroyed because of a memory that was remixed by fear and suggestion. Beyond the courtroom, the unreliability of memory corrodes the foundations of our personal relationships. We are, in a very real sense, the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. All are built upon the scaffolding of our memories. The realization that memory is a remix can be deeply unsettling. We cannot stop our brains from remixing our memories. This process is automatic, a fundamental feature of our cognitive architecture. However, we are not helpless. We can become more conscious consumers of our own pasts and take simple, practical steps to guard against the most dangerous distortions. The first and most important step is to cultivate a healthy skepticism toward your own certainty. When a memory is critically important, treat it like a claim that needs to be corroborated. Avoid leading language that suggests an answer. Make a note of what you know for sure versus what you are guessing or heard. Acknowledge the gaps instead of automatically filling them. When you know the mechanisms of illusion, you are less likely to be fooled by them. Now, let us zoom out, way out. We have talked about how your brain remixes your personal past, editing your childhood, editing your relationships, editing your identity. But what if this process is not limited to the small theater inside your skull? Your entire perception of reality is a reconstruction, a best-guess model of the outside world. Your mind reconstructs the past, just as it reconstructs the present. It is all a remix. The story of you is a remix. The story of humanity, our shared history, is a grand collective remix. What if the past is not a fixed line, but a fluid, probabilistic wave of possibilities? What if it only collapses into a history when a conscious mind observes it, reconstructs it? Perhaps your brain is not faking reality. Perhaps it is participating in its creation. Every time you remember, you are not just telling a story about the past. You are reaching back and giving it form. You are, in a small but profound way, a co-author of history. The stories you build become the world you inhabit. You can choose the next chapter. You are the editor. You are the artist. You are the storyteller. Rewrite wisely.